Greetings, citizens, and thanks for tuning in to the first part in our new series covering the best indie games of 2020 for the Nintendo Switch. I'm Jeff, the host of Nindie Nation, and 2020 has already been an incredible year for indies on the Switch. In our weekly show, we take a look at every single new indie game releasing on the eShop, and in this series, we're highlighting 20 of our favorite games so far this year. Each video will group a few titles together that share similar elements, and today's video is all about games that take a foundation established by beloved games from the past and add a unique spin to create something new. So whether you're looking for modern games that remind you of your favorites from the 8 and 16-bit era, or you're just looking for some excellent titles that slipped under your radar in 2020, here are 4 retro-inspired indies that we're sure will keep your Joy-Cons synced. If you grew up with or have spent a lot of time with the original Nintendo Entertainment System, you've probably played games like Mega Man, Blaster Master, or maybe even Metal Storm. And Panzer Paladin takes elements from all of those titles and creates a side-scrolling action game that stands tall among its retro counterparts. Developed by Tribute Games, who has a strong track record with games like Flint Hook and Mercenary Kings, Panzer Paladin carries a Mega Man-like structure where you'll progress through stages, defeat bosses, and gather new weapons along the way. Panzer Paladin takes this concept a step further though, and scatters weapons across all the stages you explore while also allowing you to steal the weapons from any enemy you defeat, not just the bosses. The weapons can break, but you pick up so many that having the right weapon at the right time is never a challenge. And with each weapon providing a unique buff or ability, you're actually encouraged to break weapons, which keeps the side-scrolling action fresh. As with any self-respecting mech game, you also get plenty of opportunities to jump out of your Paladin for some faster-paced whip-slinging action that is always a fun change of pace. Panzer Paladin also reaches a level of overall polish that is rare in any type of game, let alone indies. Beyond a chiptune soundtrack that will remind you of Shovel Knight and a pixel art visual style reminiscent of the best the NES has to offer, Panzer Paladin packs a 10-hour campaign, New Game Plus, and multiple modes to keep you coming back well after the story ends. If your retro roots don't extend all the way to 8 or 16-bit eras, but more so to miniature DVDs in a cube-shaped console, then Super Crush KO might be the game for you. Developed by Vertex Pop, their follow-up to 2017's excellent Graceful Explosion Machine carries their vibrant, colorful style but delivers it alongside 2D combo-driven action that invokes many aspects of the Viewtiful Joe series. Screen by screen, your protagonist Karen must battle waves of evil robots by punching, kicking, shooting, jumping, dashing, and dodging her way through each encounter, all while maintaining the highest combo possible. You'll learn enemy patterns, figure out your favorite combos from an impressive bag of tricks, and start recognizing the visual cues that will signal when a well-timed dash or special attack can mean the difference between maintaining your 200-hit combo and having to try again for that perfect run. Content-wise, Super Crush KO is a bit light with about 2 hours of new levels to see, but the rush of obtaining S ranks and seeing your name climb a surprisingly active leaderboard should provide plenty of reasons to keep working on that perfect run. If you liked Graceful Explosion Machine, don't miss Vertex Pop's latest release. If you like score-chasing action or the rush of maintaining and executing huge combos, Super Crush KO definitely deserves a home on your Nintendo Switch. Back to the 8-bit world of the late 80s and early 90s, if you're even remotely familiar with the Castlevania series, identifying the inspiration behind Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 should be immediately apparent. In fact, the first Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is almost identical to Castlevania 3. The recent sequel follows the 8-bit aesthetic of the first entry while at the same time building on the world established in the more modern Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Curse of the Moon 2 features a slower, more methodical approach to side-scrolling action, where timing your jumps and attacks carefully are much more important than button mashing or speeding your way through a level. Throughout the story, you'll meet 3 other characters who will join your party and grant you the ability to switch between any of the 4 party members at any time. Each character has unique capabilities that will help you find secrets and tackle the broad variety of enemies and bosses. Be careful though, because each character also has their own health to monitor, and if you lose one of your primary party members, it can be a while before you're able to get them back, which can cause you to miss out on alternate paths during your journey. Curse of the Moon 2 is hard, like retro game hard, and you should expect that going in. But that isn't to say it's impossible. With 2 difficulty levels, you can experience the game in a way that simply removes some of the more unforgiving aspects of the challenge without it feeling like an easy mode. This can help because in addition to a core story that takes a few hours to complete, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 features as many as 7 different paths that can lead to entirely different endings, with 2 of those playthroughs being completely unique, so there's more than enough content here. For fans of Castlevania, you'll find one of the best implementations of the formula in Curse of the Moon 2, and for everyone else, a fantastic, challenging, retro-inspired adventure well worth the price of admission. And rounding out today's video is a shining example of how to revitalize a franchise in such a way that it becomes the best entry in the series more than 20 years later. Streets of Rage 4 needs little by way of introduction, but just in case. The Streets of Rage series began on the Sega Genesis by taking the idea of punching and kicking your way through side-scrolling levels and gave it a grounded story about taking down a crime syndicate, a deep yet accessible combat system, gorgeous graphics, and an iconic industrial synth soundtrack. Streets of Rage 4 took that foundation and built on every aspect of it to emerge as one of the best arcade brawlers in decades. There's more levels, more characters, a new hand-drawn art style that pops on any screen, a brand new soundtrack which features the original soundtrack's composer, and an overhauled combat system that brings a new risk versus reward combo mechanic that is truly gratifying. For fans of the original, you can even turn on classic graphics and listen to the original Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack, and after all this time, it still looks and sounds great. There's just so much to see in this game, with rewards for completing the campaign with every character across all the difficulty levels, and more than a dozen unlockable characters from across the entire Streets of Rage series. And just like in Super Crush KO, there's a ton of fun to be had just trying to get the highest rank in each level. Add in online play, a boss rush mode, and a promise for future content from the teams at Lizard Cube and .emu, and Streets of Rage 4 stands as one of the best arcade brawlers out there. So there you have it, 4 games that honor the past while building something new, all while giving you gratifying action that looks, sounds, and feels great to play, all by independent developers. Did something stand out for you? Let us know in the comments or chat with us on Twitter at Nindie Nation. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Or check out our weekly show, Nindie Nation, for a quick take on every single indie that releases every single week for the Nintendo Switch. As always, thanks for stopping by today, thanks for sharing us with other fans of indie games, and remember, when you're looking for the best retro-inspired action available on the Nintendo Switch, Nindie Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.